All right, we're back another Saturday on our Black Media Network. Welcome back. I'm Robert Bryant. We got Julius, we got Sabrina, and I think CJ is coming to join us. But last week, y'all, we started talking about municipal growth within counties, and we used Chatham County, Georgia, as an example. I don't know what happened to Julius. I think he fell off his chair. But Sabrina, I think you were closing out with a topic, and I think you were telling us next week we could pick up there. So I'm going to defer to you and Mr. Hall to kind of start us off today.
Well, hello, coastal Georgia. I don't know where you are, if it's raining, but I hope you're being dry and you're being safe out there because, there's been a lot of accidents lately. So I'm just want to make sure that you guys are taking caution regarding the weather. You're absolutely right, Robert. Last week we did end off a great conversation, and we're going to pick it up today. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is how we have to, as the Black community, engage and understand in politics, and understand that in order for us to have a better life, that economically, that politics and economics are two sides of the same coin. So I wanted to deep dive into that a little bit and explain how we can improve our lives in every capacity by simply engaging.
Yeah. Julius, what's your response to that?
To what?
To what Sabrina just said is that basically politics, economics are basically pretty much on an equal playing field. I mean,
you can't have one without the other.
Right.
And I'm sorry if I wasn't paying attention right then. My computer went out, and I was trying to figure out what's wrong, and then the other one went out, and I think Sabrina has bugged me, put a virus somewhere in there.
I think it's the FBI. When the FBI left Trump, they came by.
No, he was a part of Mar-a-Lago, so they came.
Yeah, you see that expensive hat? You see that expensive hat?
Yeah, you can't have one without the other. And that's the problem. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
Politics. I was in this organization, and the guy, one of the people in it, said, "Well, I don't want to be involved in no politics." I said, you can't have this type of organization without being involved in politics. If you have this much power in a group, you got to be involved in politics, because what you're trying to do, you have to be able to change the people who can put those policies in place. And if you don't want to be involved in politics, then you don't understand the process, and you just don't need to be anywhere trying to run anything or do anything, because politics is it goes to the core of what this country even is built on. This is how everything gets done, through politics. So you have to have it.
But over the years, I've come to understand why so many people, especially within the Black community, are reluctant to engage in political play. And here's why. Oftentimes, they say in politics, people have long memories. Well, that's true. And oftentimes if you get a bad person that's running for office, and maybe that person did not win, or maybe that person did win. Well, if you are known to have not supported that person, that long memory of theirs kicks in, and they may retaliate on you if you're a business owner, or they may go throughout the community and speak badly or poorly about you as a person. These are all things that we must be able to endure. One of the things that I have learned greatly is, everybody wants to get into the fray of things. And when I say get into the fray of things, I'm talking about if you own a business, you're getting into the fray of things. You're getting into the thick of things. If you are a community advocate, you're getting into the thick of things. But once people tend to aspire for that spotlight, but there is a flip side to that spotlight. On the converse side is a very dark side. And that's all the negatives that come your way in regards to being out there in the spotlight. So if you're not ready to handle the spotlight, those negatives, hi Carrie, if you're not ready to handle those negatives that are going to be said about you, because they will be said about you, then you're not ready to leave. That's just the point blank period. And that's one of the things that we have to look at when we are going to the ballot and we're casting our vote. You know, one of the things I have learned throughout my study of politics is we don't want scary people leading us. Where can a scary person lead you? You know, nowhere, because they're too afraid. So I want people who are, you know, who are known to advocate freely for the public, for the community. You know, I kind of want to go back to what, you know, we all talk about. Let's talk, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus advocated freely. He got involved in politics. He got involved in economics. He got involved in all of those things. So I want someone who's going to lead like Jesus, is fearless like Jesus, and is has the morals and the principles of Jesus, and is really about the people. And then once that happens, once we find that person, we need to all throw our power behind it. Whether if that power is $1, whether it's $100, whether it's $1,000, where it's just going out in the community saying, "Hey, this person is the person for this seat, and here's why." You know, we need to get behind that, because if we don't, we're just going to get those who are just talking a good game, and you know, we can't eat words. We can't live off of words. We cannot build a home off of words, especially if they're empty and if there's emptiness there and there's nothing coming back to me monetary wise to actually feed my family, give my family a good, you know, lifestyle. You know, for me to go out, if you're not creating a job for me, but you're just giving me lip service, what good is that? We have to be able to decipher what's good for us and what's not good for us. And that's easier to do if we really want to do it. We have to move away from, you know, the typical play of things. Oh, that's my friend. I've known him for or her for X amount of years. We go to church together. Oh, that's Deacon Dr. Doug, that type of thing. We have to move away from that. We need real leaders. We need people who understand policy. We need people to understand that economics is affecting us. You know, we've been here. We've been here every year, whether it was hiding in the church, meeting secretly in the church over 60 years ago, to now to having organizations and conversations like this. And we're still talking about how can we move the structure along for the Black community. This is how we do it.
I want to interject here, because I think something that's very important is that if you are going to be in public service, then you are a public person. So if you are afraid to be transparent with your life and you cannot have a public life, then it's not for you. Because today's America, they want you to be completely and utterly honest. You ain't got to tell all your business, but if you're not honest about what goes on even in your life, and I find a lot of times the things that you're going through, other people are going through, and if you share it, then people can speak up and we can get through this and heal the community together, rather than being afraid to say it in public. I think you just got to be bold. Like, you have to be bold to be able to be fierce and being authentically yourself, and that carries so much weight with the public.
Yeah, I agree with you. Back when I ran a couple of years ago, that was one of my number one things, is that while I don't need you to know everything I do, like you're not coming up in my bedroom, I do want people, and I do value public leaders who show you that you have a human side. That's why a lot of times I don't mind when people see me act silly on certain shows or see me in a certain light when we're having a professional conversation. You've got to show people that you're human, right? I think that's very important when you have public leadership. And what that boils down to is when you get to a level of now you're leading a community, whether it be at a municipal level or a county level, people feel that you're accessible and approachable. If you're a leader who just wants to be up here and you're leading like your people are down here, then you're absolutely garbage, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, you know, and I appreciate all of you speaking so candidly about me. You're too kind, Sabrina. to talk so glaringly.
With his Trump, you see his Trump hat? See
Yeah, I see that
that's
Mar-a-Lago
That's not an
hat.
eagle, that's a T. It flew in from Mar-a-Lago.
It sounds like you all
Billy used to be called Dad with the MAGA hat on, and I like the fact that he was.
it sounds like y'all were describing me in so many ways that y'all were describing me, and I appreciate that y'all talk. You know, that kind of leader. Y'all, I appreciate that. Y'all are great friends.
Bless his heart, Sabrina.
But y'all can
Bless
see
his heart.
that.
But I will say, being in politics, it's not, for me, I'll say for me, because it's very different for a lot of people. I do believe in order to be in politics, to be a political, it's got to be purpose driven. I do believe that we are all born with a divine blueprint. Some people want to covet our blueprints, but that's not meant for them to walk. That path is not meant for them to walk. I think some people are meant to be in politics while others aspire to be in politics. And when we have those aspirations, we tend to, those aspirational candidates, and they tend to get in there. And, I look at things from all spectrums. So when you quickly attach yourself to that circle, and you start to detach yourself from the community, and then you stop posting on social media to keep me informed as your constituent. I want you to do the same thing you were doing before I helped you get elected, because I need to see that transparency. But once I start to see you transform, I tend to think that, you're not for me. You may be for just for that seat.
And I like what you're saying. I want you to break that down for our viewers. Why does that matter when you're looking at local? I hate the word politics. When you're looking at local policy and local leadership, why does that matter at a county or local level?
It's because of the key word that you said is local. You are representing the people that are low in that locality. These are the people that you should be engaging on a daily basis. Social media is a new form of connecting to people. I'm very curious as to why so many don't use it. And I don't want you to just use it and talk about basic political talking points. I want you to use it like you would normally use it before you became the political person. I want to know what's going on. I mean, what's really going on. I understand in the executive session, once you get elected, there's something or appointed to a committee. There's some things that you cannot say. I get that, but and that's legal and binding. That's law. That's nothing that we can do about that. But those things that you can clear up for me and say, I don't understand the process. Say, I don't understand the process to getting appointed to a board. You can explain that to me. And you can explain your role as it pertains to that board to me as well. So I can have a better understanding of it. And then too, you guys, you can always go to GMA website and contrast what they've said to you to what's real and factual. And then you come up with your own due diligence. So I just need you to talk to me as the person that you represent, that you knew that you were going to represent when you were, canvassing. And now that you're in that seat, I don't want you to change up on me and say, well, I'm this and I'm that, and I can't do that, or I can't come here, or I can't associate that. No. You represent all the people. You represent all the people within that territory. And I need you to be that same energy that you were to get our votes. I need you to be that same energy now that you've gotten that vote and hold that seat.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the biggest thing to a losing campaign for the next go around, saying that let's say you beat an incumbent, is if you don't answer your phone, you're not present. I'm not talking about if you're elected to a district, you need to be seen in that district. If you are out campaigning and riding your car around, I'm not talking about chasing the police. I'm talking about actually getting out in the community and doing the work and saying, hey, right. What do y'all need? It's so easy to be in politics at a local level. You got to answer your phone and you got to direct them to resources.
Right.
Right.
So, and CJ, what I was just thinking about is it kind of pertains to what you just said. Is so in a county structure in Georgia, within a county, you have multiple municipalities, and we're going to use Chatham County again for an example. Why is it that you elect people, right? And you would think these people are going to get along, and we can look at City of Savannah, and you think these people have the same vision in mind, but then you get elected. Well, that's what Sabrina said, and then it's like pulling teeth to get any real legislation through. Like, what's going on? And what's interesting in Chatham County is you have pretty much every council is a cluster F.
Well, let me say this.
Let me let CJ answer that one first. Then come
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think what happens is we got to learn that in politics, and what has happened with our local city council is that there's been factions. It's like, who's trying to get off the island? It's like there's a whole group that's trying to stay in there so bad for the next go around. They decided to create this, like what is the show where you get voted off the island, the person gets the $1 million.
A reality show?
Yeah, it's like it's become a reality show to keep the office so bad that they kind of tapped out. I'm not saying that they didn't do some really great things, but not everything is great that they've done because they didn't get the community input. Okay, I understand smart growth, understand what they're doing, but I also understand a lot of the public has been turned off by the divisiveness because they've been so against one group that they've turned the public against that group without the public being even fair to hear them out because they'll rant and rave on social media. I'm sorry, as a leader, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to have decorum. You may not like somebody, but you have to learn tolerance. You have to be able to smile. And I think something that Julia says, there's no permanent enemies and there's no permanent friends in politics. And I think that, we have gotten away from that. Politics is so much more important than bureaucracy. It's one of the things that I always said that I don't particularly care for the culture of what Woodrow Wilson created. But as a father of public administration, he said, you need politics and bureaucracy to work, but you want to limit the effects of politics on the bureaucracy. And we have to understand that we're public servants first. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. What does your constituents want? What do they need? That's your job. Your opinion could be the last thing from our minds and your personal life. You're just there to do your damn job. Excuse my language, but
no, perfect.
Yeah. And if you can't do the job, we need to fire them. That's that's the key thing. But I here we go back to where that understanding is. If you don't understand that economics and politics are two sides of the same coin, those bad choices will be reelected. And that's where we fall as a community. Because we are, the African American culture are they're a very caring culture. We will give people a million chances because we want to see good. We hope that good is going to come about. And unfortunately, good should be, it should be quantified, in regards to terms. If I see that you are not good for me within the first term of your election, I need to reassess and see why. And then, okay, let's say I reelect you or I vote for you to go back in and nothing's changed in your second term. We should not keep rewarding bad behavior by electing these people to go back into their seat. And we know we're not getting anything out of it. Trust me, when the voting process is a quid pro quo process. When I vote for you, I expect you to do something for me as your constituent. When you come to me and ask for my support, you are asking me for something. This is quid pro quo all day, every day. Now, if I see that you're not holding up your end of the bargain, I need to go out and search for someone else that may be able to do the job a little bit better. And we, as the Black community, we must understand, like Carrie said, there is no such thing as, well, there should be no such thing as permanent enemies in politics, but we know that that's just a fallacy. What we need to understand is, even though they may be upset that we are basically backing someone different for that seat, we are doing it for our own sake. Our lives are on the line. Our livelihoods are on the line. Our family livelihoods are on the line. My job is on the line. Whether I get a job is on the line. I mean, we got to really think about this. I mean, we're at a life or death point. So how do we move forward in regards to who we put in those positions that care whether we live or die is very important. And we as the Black community, we need to really assess it.
And Julius, I think this is a great thing for one of y'all got another device on, I think.
Huh?
Okay, make sure y'all don't have other devices on. I'm hearing an echo. But anyway, so Julius, this one of the things that sticks out of my mind as I hear Carrie and Sabrina talk is the idea of, when we put people in office, we do want them to advocate for our interests. In this city of Savannah, what we've noticed is, and in particular, I'm going to speak on Yamacraw, which really irked my nerves, is we put a person in place that we thought was going to protect, that we thought was going to advocate for that community. Now, I don't know the voting statistics of the people in Yamacraw Village. I don't. But to put someone in place that looked like them, right, that we expect to advocate for them. And this is just an example. I'm not picking on anyone, but I get irritated when we pick on the least in those. I really do. We're supposed to even protect them more. But to have someone in place that really just gave them their the kiss, I find that interesting, regardless of the fact that they might vote at 1%, they might vote at 100%. But what does that say when we put people in place and they basically do not, what's up with that? I'll let you kind of take that where it goes.
Well, it says that we didn't do proper vetting. We didn't really, some people betray you for money. Some people betray you for status and for other favors. And that happened in an election two and a half years ago. We put all these people in place, and then they got in and they did opposite of what they promised. So when that happens, it kind of throw you aback, where you have to say, God, what did I do wrong? How did we not see this? And it's just proper vetting. You got to get people to sign contracts these days almost, because it's not going to work unless they, for you to hold them accountable. The only other way you can hold them is another 4 years down the road, which we plan on doing for these particular people. 4 years later is voting them out. So that's the whole problem. It's just proper vetting. We got to get people in who care about the people. You can't make it about yourself. You can't make it personal. Nothing should be personal when it's about the people.
I'm sorry. As we're talking, I started having visuals come into my brain where we've got resources in Savannah, and I would have loved to more see that area become like the east side, where they've got that two-story building that's a community center right across.
Okay. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, across from Savannah High.
Right, and then you've got all the new apartments over there. They have access to public transportation. If we could have taken that area and redevelop it to where they had a community center in the heart of it that had activities for students to do, go get on the computer, cooking classes, a playground, places and things to do to get them to think about opportunities. I think that we don't have a culture of connecting people in Savannah. We even have a cultural arts center. We've done all these great things, but are they being used? Is there a fee? Is it open? We claim to be so good at doing these things, but are they open to the public? And we're talking a lot, but I think about the smart growth aspect and what it means for the community to have aspect and really be able to move forward and be progressive, to be able to create a culture that I've seen in Chicago and I've seen in Boston and other, even in Atlanta, where people have resources to do things and they start thinking about what else can I do? And it gets them away from all this other stuff. But then when they go there, oh, this cost, you got to sign up for this. It's not open. And then the people aren't that nice that are the key holders at the desk. So I just want to put that out there because, like, it's one thing to just talk about the leaders, but if we're talking about smart growth, it's create a culture of openness to where these utilities are being used, that people are actually doing their job.
Well, it's one of the things one of the terms we will use in diversity, equity, and inclusion is this idea of curtain dressing, a beautiful, nice little picture you put on your wall, a nice, pretty picture. And so what that means is a lot of institutions and organizations will put a diversity officer in place because it's a pretty thing to do, and they check that box. What you just said is exactly right. We have the community centers, the cultural arts centers, but that's a box to check to make the community believe we're doing things, to make the world believe we're doing things. In all actuality, what Savannah has become, which is very sad in my opinion, is a tourist-driven economy, which means if it's not about the tourism, we don't give a damn. Excuse my language, but that's really what has become. We don't care about crime like we used to. We don't, all this money we put on Broughton, tourism, when we could have been putting money into nonprofits and organizations that support our young Black youth. It blows my mind that we have the crime rate that we have, the murder rate that we have, and yet we want to worry about how the tourist industry goes. Keisha Gibson Carter, Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter, put a beautiful image up a couple of weeks ago on her show where she showed all these lights and police presence in City Market. Why isn't it in the areas where there are crime going on? Why isn't it over here in the 5th District where we have crime going on? And so we've got to put people, what's important about this, let me bring it home for us. If we don't put people and all the women and all the men in place who understand and not getting paid on the table for other activities, when we put all the people in place that care about the community and less about a check, I think that's where we start seeing some growth too.
But I gotta say this, I know you guys live in Savannah, but I let's just be clear. What's happening in Savannah is not an anomaly. It's happening all over Georgia. Okay. Yeah. So let's just be clear on this. It goes back to, we cannot preach about the problems. And this is one of the things I wanted to say last week. And this is not, I don't want anybody to take this personally because this is Sabrina. I don't like when we throw another problem into a problem that we've not solved yet. What we have, the problem, because everything that you're addressing, from smart growth to the disadvantages that you guys see in your city, is all related to politics. Let's stay on that. Let's stay right there. Yeah. Okay, center. Yeah. Politics is driven by economics, whether it's, like you said, under the table economics, whether it's street economics, because getting people to get behind you is money. It's valuable. It's viable. And then, of course, you have the position that, or the title that also brings you wealth, whether it's monetary or whether it's perceived. So this is happening all over Georgia. This is happening all over Georgia. Reason why it's happening, and the only way that we can change it, is there are a couple of things. First of all, we have to engage the process. We have to engage the process. People need to understand what their vote truly means and not just talk about it, get a cool slogan and say, put this t-shirt on and let's get out there and rally some folks. No. I need you to understand that this vote means whether you live or die. Mm-hmm. I need to be very clear on that. And then 2, we need to vet. It's so important. I hate when we throw, and I say we because I'm focused only on the Black community in this conversation. I hate when we throw candidates against the wall just to see if they stick. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's just something that I'm not into. There are great candidates throughout coastal Georgia. And you guys are you're the biggest city in coastal Georgia. So you guys are basically don't look at people within the circle. Look outside of the circle. Those people who are having private conversations, and be the wind beneath their wings to get them out there so they can soar and they can take flight and they won't be afraid to talk. As people say, truth to power, or perceived power. We need that. We need that.
Let me ask you this, and this is for you too, CJ, is that how do you all identify, give me a minute on this, how do you all identify a good candidate? For example, Julius will tell you all the time I'm coming back to him, it's like, hey, I just saw this, because I'm big on the young people getting involved. I'm talking about young, meaning 35 and under. This young kid, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Two African-American males who are just stellar. When I mean stellar, I mean you take initiative on stuff. You're out there with a small business, so you're not afraid to speak. You have ideas. You're ready to put yourself out there. You can represent me when I'm not in the room. Like, those are the qualities I look for. What is a good candidate, if y'all had to answer that? Let's start with you, CJ, and then Sabrina.
I'm going to hit on somebody that Sabrina and I both know, and I want to talk about somebody in her area who is one of my best friends, and that is Micah Smith. Ran for public office, and Micah was the first trans woman to run in Liberty County. And I thought it was awesome because Micah educated people as Micah was going through the process, was not afraid to hold any and everybody accountable, and went to every training that was imaginable, applied to everything that was out there, talked to every single person, not matter the party, whatever. And I think that's important because, Micah's partner is an African-American woman, and he very much knows and has firsthand seen her struggles, but he doesn't say those are my struggles. She tries to
I get it for now.
But I think that I don't know, Sabrina. I'm just going to say I thought Micah did a phenomenal job. And those are the type of candidates that we need, that are not afraid to step on toes if toes need to be stepped on, and to educate as they're doing things.
And I love Micah. I got to know Micah, and Michael is going to hold office one day. I just believe that. What I look for as in a candidate is people who are doing the work without the title, without the recognition, and they're already doing the work. And I'm not saying they just started the work, because one of the things that a lot of people like to do is start nonprofits and say, "Ooh, look at me! I'm the next leader." I'm like, no, I don't see that person as. I need to see you consistently showing leadership, and that's whether you get paid, recognized, people love you for it, or people hate you for it. And I need to see you doing that over time, years. I don't need to see you. What turns me off about a candidate is when you just jump out when it's time to run for office and say, I'm your girl or your guy. And I'm like thinking, what have you done? Those are the things I'm going to ask. What have you done? And being a part of social or civic groups, I'm sorry, yes, the group does a lot of great work, but what have you done as a potential next elected official? What have you done? That's what I need to know.
And Julius, what's your response to Sabrina? I like that and I think you're going to bring that and to it. So what do you think about what Sabrina said?
Well, Sabrina said, Sabrina's full of it. Okay, we're
gonna behave this week. We have a pact. We're gonna behave.
He's going to behave, sir.
Right, we're not gonna do that this
week. Sabrina, I don't listen to nothing Sabrina say because she's messy.
We know which got us in trouble.
No, Julius's and almost got us in trouble.
Right.
See, that's why y'all should just go along with what I'm doing, because
no, it ain't.
You ain't got to worry about the trouble.
You got to build.
No, sir. No, sir.
But this is what it's all about: being a great leader, builds coalitions, but also being a great leader is telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Okay.
You don't tell
nicely.
you don't tell a person that they're doing a great job.
Don't encourage them, CJ.
No, I have Julius's back. I've told
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I do. Yes, I do. I've already told somebody. No. I'm not going to be afraid to say this. I've already told the constituent for my district. I said, you need to make sure you answer your phone, because if you don't answer your phone, then that's going to give me a reason to run against you. So you need to make sure you're answering your phone.
Yeah.
Hey.
I love the polls, though.
Well, I don't want to know who's your person that you're. I don't want to know.
You got to be honest with these people.
But Julius, here's the thing. Do you agree that? And this is where my end comes from. I agree with Sabrina. Yes, I want to see you active. But for example, one of the kids I'm talking about, just as a small business worker, is a damn good father from what I can see. That to me shows me that if I can leave you in the room and you can talk and you can talk intelligently and you can stand for an issue, I don't necessarily need to see you out there doing community service, but I can trust that I can leave you in there to be a strong Democrat. That's one of the things I'm gonna give it back to you. That's one of the things I'm seeing with the Democrat Party right now is they're weak. They bitch out. And
so let me wait.
I'm sorry. That's
Robert.
Julius Sabrina, go back. Hold on. Go back to Julius.
A strong Democrat? I need to know.
They need to stop negotiating. I'll give you a great example. When Merrick Garland came up for Supreme Court justice, they but did they do that with our girl Amy? What Mitch did? Put it right down your ass. Excuse my language, but that's what happened. We sit there and we want to play footsie with them. Get the job done. Period.
That sounds all great, but that's irrelevant to local policy. Like all that.
I understand that, but I was answering Sabrina's question about what's a strong Dem. One that doesn't be out.
And then more than ever, Sabrina, more than ever, you have where a few years ago you could say you could be down the middle, and that's out all the time. That you don't want to do what the Democrats do, and you don't want to do what the Republicans do, so you're in the middle. Now you see that there are only two sides. There is no middle anymore. It's either you all the way crazy, or you all the way to the left trying to do something for people. The Republicans don't have any compassion and don't want to do anything for nobody. They don't care. They don't care that you know that they don't care.
No, but my question is, what is a strong Democrat? Beto O'Rourke is a strong Democrat to me. He is a strong Democrat because he is walking and talking that life. John Ossoff is a strong Democrat to me because he is showing up. He is proving that he is about the people. To me, a strong Democrat is about the people, and that person has been there, whether that person has come and worked the scenes or has worked the scenes worked behind the scenes for years and then comes back up to the front. But that person is actively engaging the community and they are about the life that they basically advocate for or they are, petitioning to. So that's what a strong Democrat looks like to me. Going back to that center coin, politics and economics, when we are basically looking for a candidate, that candidate needs to be able to pinpoint our issues because that candidate is greatly involved in our world. That's what it is. This has nothing to do about the Republicans. I have no care about their platform, none, because they are doing their own thing. I'm talking about us. How do we effectively move forward? And how we effectively move forward, we must engage, we must vet, we must not just basically pick a cherry off the tree and look at it and say, oh, I think it's sweet. No, we have to taste that fruit.
I admire somebody that I grew up with in Young Democrats of Georgia, and that's somebody based out of Atlanta, and that's Nikema Williams. Her husband was in my PhD program. Leslie's already graduated, but I think that's a powerhouse couple who's unapologetically working in Democratic politics, who are strong. calling out Republicans for the shit that they do, excuse my language, that hurts the Black community in all facets, whether it's voting, economics, business, but is always looking to what policies are specific to their district and ends up helping Georgia.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And here's another thing too. This is, and you guys can have at me if you want, but this is something that just really burns my hide. When we know of an up and coming leader, when we know of an up and coming future seat holder, when we see that talent that is visible, we as the community must stop speaking negatively and adding rumors and things that are not true in the atmosphere about that candidate. Because let me tell you a story. I was doing a lot of things in the community, and it was a certain group that had a problem with me. So I finally asked, "What's the problem that y'all have?" And I was told this verbatim: "You're doing things that we want to do in the future."
Then why not partner with you?
Didn't want to partner with me. And that's where we again hurt the community, because there was an opportunity to do that, but they didn't want to do it. So again, when we have these opportunities, they get out there and they're like, "Oh, well, she's doing too much," or "That person's doing too much," or "I wish that person wouldn't do that because I'm supposed to do that." There is no, until you obtain that office, this is free game. Anybody can help, anybody can build, anybody can develop. It is free game.
Well, and
we need to be cognitive of that.
And it's equivalent to this. It's almost like if we pass by a child on the street that looks hungry, am I going to wait for Sabrina to come by to give the child some food, or am I going to get the child? That's so dumb. People come up with some dumb stuff, and I'm going to call it for what it is. That's dumb. At the end of the day, help your community. If there's a gap, fill the gap. If there's a partnership, build a partnership. But I agree with you. There was a candidate running at some point and was going to have a pretty powerful position, but yet wouldn't talk to somebody who was in that community. How can you run for the office, have a grudge with somebody who's going to be your constituent? How dumb is that?
Yeah,
that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, you can't. There's several people in this district that I don't necessarily care for, but when I become the council person, I am going to represent them as equally as the person I like next door.
Right. And that's the leader I'm looking to elect. If I was a constituent within your district, I would definitely vote for you, because you are adult enough, you are a leader enough to put your differences aside for that person and lead. That's all we want. That's all we want.
Julius,
you got a house for you to come move in the 5th district.
What's that? You said what, Julius?
I told her you have a house for her to come move in the 5th district.
Yeah. Oh, you done told a secret. Ain't no secret though. Sabrina's gonna be Sabrina's over marketing, so she gotta have a piece in the pie.
I think what we're dropping some bombs from the past and some solutions for the future is that the incoming council, no matter where the city of Savannah, city of Hinesville, what have you, people have got to put their personal differences aside and start focusing at a local level. Since the national and state can't do it anymore, it's going to come down to local levels. Applying for government grants through departments to get those federal dollars in, since it's not going to come through the legislature, Department of Justice, or what have you. You're going to have to apply for those. In order to do that, the getting stranded on an island trying to win the competition, the $1 million, can't do that anymore. You're gonna have to put whatever it is to the side and have a conversation.
Right. Agreed. It's mature, and that's leadership. You have to do it, whether you want to or not. There are so many times that I just, you get up after you've seen, I don't know if you guys, I know Julius has been down the coast, and I know Robert knows folks, and I know Carrie's definitely been down the coast. But when you go through these neighborhoods and you see people living barely, and they are in such need, and you keep doing everything that you possibly can do to make their lives better, and you are not that elected official, something is wrong. Something is wrong. We need to, this is 2022. Listen, I'm not looking back. I'm looking forward. I've seen what I don't want, and I know what I do want. And that is what I'm going to be petitioning for, advocating for, fundraising for. You name it, I'm going to do it. Because I know you have my best interest at heart.
Well, Sabrina, it goes right back to what Robert said also. When you look at it, if you ride through these cities and you see people barely making it, barely living like it's in a third world country, but then you see us giving $1 trillion to the Ukraine, when that $1 trillion could have been used to build up our communities in the marginalized communities and the underserved communities around this country. You're not going to feed the other baby before you feed your baby. You're going to feed your baby first because you birthed that child.
Right.
So why are we feeding somebody else before we feed our own? You know, it don't make sense.
You're absolutely right.
Let me tie this in, Sabrina, because it'll leave my head. I want to. This hit me so hard just now. When you tie the idea of economics to politics, and you have individuals who are in the center of that, and they capitalize and bastardize a position. And what I mean by that is we got to start electing people who are not in it for the kickback. We got to elect people who have enough resources to sustain themselves without the kickback. What I mean by that is you put a candidate like one of us, and I'll use myself as an example. I ain't got the most resources in the world, but I'm okay. So if I run into an office and run for an office, I ain't got to worry about who slide me money on the table. I ain't got to worry about answering the Kelso downtown. All I got to worry about is my constituents, because I ain't got to worry about no money, because the money ain't important to me. The service to the people are important. That's the other quality I think we're missing too.
You're absolutely right. That's what I say every year. You know, when it's time to go for re-election, you know, I see a lot of people scrambling and they're trying to, you know, do things at the last minute. First of all, I gotta say these two things. We go through, let's just take city council, for instance. That's anywhere. You are elected for a 4-year term. You have 4 years to do things. Most of the time, a lot of folks go in and they sit on those benches and they don't do any of those necessary things for the community until year 3. You playing with me as your constituent. You are playing with me as your constituent. I want you to work once you get in office, day 1, you are earning a paycheck. I have hired you and I want to see the fruits of your labor. And I need you to be active at day 1. I don't want to see you starting to post, oh, look at our SPLOST monies, what SPLOST monies is doing in year 3.5.
We better break time fall apart.
Yeah, you should have done this. I don't need to, you know, to me, you playing me. So, you know, if you are an elected official and if you're doing what you're supposed to do since day 1, you don't have to worry about year 3. Because the people are going to have your back and you're going to go in there and you're going to succeed in your reelection. But if you're not doing what you were supposed to do and you come back to me year 3 and you peddling me another bridge that you just grew in your back, built up in your backyard, and I buy into it, shame on me. But if I am teaching my neighbor, he can't put a bridge in his backyard because it won't fit. And they're like, aha, that's my aha moment. Then I'm doing my job to educate the community to understand that this candidate is not good for us. So we need to look elsewhere.
All right, y'all. We have final comments. Let's go, CJ. We're gonna start with you. Final comments.
My final comment is I'm tired of looking to men in suits that have money and thinking that they're better than me because they have money and they deserve to be in office. I'm just going to drop that right there, because just because you have money or you grew up with it or you attained it does not mean that you know more than me. Yeah, right. I'm not going to vote for you because I'm tired, I'm fed up, and you ain't doing nothing for me. I'm sorry, but as a woman, I am partial to people that are biopic and women because they can relate to me, because we grew up with some cultural characteristics that I can relate to, and those people want to speak for me. And so I think I'm. Listen, the autocrats and the suits are no different than the totalitarian leaders overseas. So,
all right, Julius, you close on out. What do you comment? One last comment.
Sabrina already went. Sabrina already went.
I think he was saving me for last.
I'm the damn hole. The hole. I thought I was supposed to be last. Anyway, I want to set the record straight from last week, because it seems like some people got a little upset by the words. I got to choose my words carefully. Got a little upset by what I said concerning a certain organization. Now, I was not on here to impugn the integrity of that particular organization. These are my friends. I think they have great intentions and they serve the community well. What I was saying was merely that we need to work more together and build this organization and stop waiting on help when the help is right in front of us. That's all I'm saying. Don't look outside for nothing. Everything that we need is inside right here. That's all I'm saying. If you don't understand that, then you still need to be mad with me, because I don't give a damn.
Okay, all right. You did nice.
You did good, Julia.
Because what I'm saying is that we could build, and we keep wasting time. Stop wasting time. Let's do this thing now. And because, we went from a market that had a house worth $20,000 that's now worth $60,000. That went up 3 times. So we can't continue to wait. There's no time to wait. We got to build and start now. So
all right. Well, y'all, great. We appreciate y'all being here. We're going to close it out. We're at our time limit. Thank you all. We'll be back next Saturday, same time, same bat channel. If y'all want to do a part 3, hey, I'm down for it. I mean, y'all think it's part 3? We'll talk offline.
And Robert,
let's put a poll out. Let's put the poll out and see what the people.
Hey, y'all. I tell you what, y'all comment below if we should do a part 3. Y'all comment below when you watch this. All right, we're gonna get out. We'll talk.
I say we should, because Sabrina has good hair today.
Bye, y'all. See y'all next Saturday. Bye.
Come back to it.